I tell you, I'm proud of this team. Number one, just finding a way to win. You know, it wasn't pretty for the offense early on. You know, I think the offense probably played a total of 2 quarters of good football. You know, we got to find a way to get some consistency there, settle our quarterback down. You know, that being said, I mean, having 2 freshman O-linemen, true freshmen O-linemen start in front of him today and still get the end result was something that's promising. We'll build off of that. You know, very proud of the way our defense played. I lost count at 7 3-and-outs, you know, but the interception by Taiwan Francis was huge. Put us in position to kind of bleed the clock a little bit, and to me, that's complimentary football. We can find a way to do that for 4 quarters. I think you'll see this team continue to grow with the season. So, that being said, what you got?
Yes, Stan, so what did the defense change? Held them to 41 yards in the second half. What did they suddenly gave up nothing? What had you given up that you cleaned up?
Well, we came into this game, you know, expressing why we do what we do, you know, and, you know, we spent some time as a football team bleeding on each other, telling each other's story, try to find out what lights their fire within. And I took that personal when I didn't see that in their play. You know, so I dug into them a little bit at halftime and, you know, told them, you know, if you're going to say you're going to do something, then we need to be a football team that does it. You know, we just can't be about talk. You know, talk with your pass, talk with your actions, talk with your effort and your attitude and your toughness every single play. And I didn't feel that we did that collectively as a football team in the second half. So we had to just a little easy reminder of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we're going to play with an edge. You know, our edge has got to be our why, and that's got to show up on all 4 quarters, not just 2 quarters.
Stan, Taiwan Francis, like you mentioned, the game-clinching interception, but also wore single-digit number 4 today in his first game as a Temple Owl. What did you see from him today, and also what went into the decision to give him the single-digit?
Well, I saw a tough football player, very instinctive. He's on a lot of tackles, you know, around the ball a lot. It was just a matter of time that he was going to get one. And we've seen that every day in practice from Taiwan. I mean, which is why he's an honorary single digit for this game. You know, we had 2 of them, he and Trey Thomas, just guys who were examples of being a leader during the course of practice. The locker room got a little chippy this week. You know, it was really time to play somebody else, and those 2 guys stepped up in a leadership role, and it was well deserved. So.
Did this feel like a game you would have lost last year?
I don't know how to answer that question. You know, we're looking ahead. You know, I think that we're a football team that proved that when adversity hits, that we can answer the bell. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I learned a lot about this team today. You know, it's when you get into a game situation and you learn about each other. And you know, this is our first battle together. And you know, I think that if we play like we did today, 2 quarters of football, we're not gonna beat anybody. You know, and so. That being said, we just have to get better. We have to continue to get better. We have to take this game and learn from it, build from it, enhance from it, and see if we can put a full game together.
Coach, defensively, I mean, beginning of the 4th quarter, you guys get the touchdown. It's a 3-point game the whole 4th quarter. You just talk about how impressive it was for the defense to stay strong in a tight game the entire 4th quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it was just leadership stepped up, you know. I thought that we were lacking some energy on that side of the ball, even though they were playing well, okay? You know, but there's a bunch of single digits over there responsible for the energy and the passion of that defense, you know, and I think that that's something that picked up as we walked out of the locker room, and they just kind of took on the mindset that, you know, they're going to put the game on their back, you know, and again, saying it and doing it is one thing, and to see them actually do it is something that we're going to absolutely build from.
What do you think it flipped it in the 4th quarters when you finally not just started getting to the quarterback, but then we're suddenly getting to him, you know, all the time after it took 3 quarters you couldn't get to him?
Yeah, I just think that Everett did a great job of creating some games up front. You know, we tried to straight play pretty early, and then we started some twisting and gaming toward the back end of the game, and it worked, you know. I got to give credit to Akron. You know, they did a really good job. I mean, only having 1 returner on the offensive line, but you know, they hit that portal and got some guys, and I thought they did a great job of protecting that quarterback. Plus, there was always the threat of that quarterback running the football, so it really forces into certain schemes. But no, we expect to get sacks out of those guys. We got real pass rushers, and no matter what it showed up at the right time, you know. But I would like to see it happen more frequently.
Dante was your leading receiver. He was returning kicks for you. What did you see out of him? And do you feel like he'll be that
steady? You know, he's really calm under pressure. He's the same way every day, and he just makes plays. You know, and he's got great instincts out there. He's tougher than I thought he was. Not to say that I didn't think he was tough, but just watching him play on contact, break tackles from time to time, those cramps got to him. He wasn't tough enough to defeat the cramping that was going on out there. But you know, he's a hell of a football player. Smart, doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. So again, there's a high ceiling for him still. We need more out of him.
Can you talk about Sadie's day and just his explosiveness out of the backfield in space?
We need to get better there. You know, still feel like we could run the ball better. I've seen it in the offseason. We didn't show up and show it today. You know, I got to really take a look. That's a one position where, you know, it's hard to make a real smart comment on until you really watch the film. But I just thought that there was some hesitation. I don't know why. You know, I do know we had some young guys up front. There was times where I felt that we changed the line of scrimmage, and there was times where I thought there were stalemates. You know, but at the end of the day, those backs have got to play on contact, and they got to make good decisions in the backfield. And again, I just got to really go back and assess that and see what the problem was.
Ahmad took that really big hit. Then I think like the next drive or two is already back in the game. What does that just like say about him? And is there any update on him?
Yeah, he's fine. He's good. You know, I think the cramps hurt more than the hit. You know, but it was a target, man, to the head, and we just wanted to make sure that he was clear-headed and ready to go back in, and he was. He's a tough kid now. No, he wants to win. I mean, he's been a chirping in my ear every day in practice. I mean, he's annoying as hell, but you know, I love him because he loves the game of football, and you know, he's not happy unless he's on the football field. So I expect him to tough those things out. I expect him to be smart. If he's hurt, he needs to, you know, really communicate that the right way. But today there was nothing taking him out of the ball game.
Stan, Dante Wright's first game in Temple uniform, utilized right away as a starter. How are you going to utilize him down the stretch through the last 11 games?
Yeah, he's going to get the ball in his hands because we got to find creative ways to put the ball in his hands. There's some guys that are really defining themselves as ball carriers, and there are guys that are defining themselves as people who we just got to find ways to get him the football, be creative that way. And he's one of those guys where we got to find some creative ways to get him the football. You know, I like the way, you know, Ahmad Anderson played with the ball in his hands today. We got to continue to enhance that piece of it, and you know, other guys got to step up. That's when it gets fun. You know, we can start playing the matchup game a little bit. You know, but you know, moving forward, we'll have a better understanding, I think, of our opponent. You know, we didn't know what we were going to get from Akron. You know, there was a whole bunch of guys on a depth chart. Matter of fact, we didn't even see a depth chart till today. You know, so it was a lot of figuring things out on the run, and you know, I think moving forward, we will have a better sense of what we're going to see on that game day, and that way we can prepare to find ways to get those guys the ball.
Stan, what's the status of some of your offensive linemen that didn't suit up today, like Wiz and
Yeah.
Bryce and
Wiz and who
Bryce and James?
Yeah, they're fine. You know, nothing wrong with Bryce. Wisdom had a midweek minor deal that he's going to be just okay for next week, but it was just too close to the game when it happened, and so we knew he wasn't going to play. But Bryce, you know, Bryce is he's got to compete to earn that playing time, and you know, there's a young guy that's going to challenge him every single day in Luke Watson. So, you know, but he was ready to go. You know, I love the way Bryce prepares, and we have no problem putting him in the game.
Why do you think it took a little bit of time for EJ to find a rhythm?
Again, you know, it's like you don't know what you're going to see all the time. We had a couple of unscouted looks out there. You know, we're calling plays, and EJ's such a study, right? That if all of a sudden it is something different that's getting thrown at him, it just takes him a second to process it, right? He's got to get better, though. You know, I mean, there's a couple of throws that I do believe he should have made. I know he can make, and we just got to, you know, figure out why we didn't make those throws, and you know, not all of that goes on to him. You know, some of it goes to the wide receivers and the discipline within the route. You know, there wasn't always great routes out there for him, and there was times where he had to deal with pressure. But you know, we don't lose confidence in EJ. We just know he's going to prepare his butt off, and you know, we're just going to help him get through this one, and we're going to learn from it. And there's no better person to do it than him.
You had a couple freshmen show up on defense, Conlon and Corey Yeoman.
Yeah.
Did you feel going in those guys are ready to do something?
Absolutely. You know, we told Colin about 2 weeks ago that, told him he's not a freshman. He can't be a freshman. He's got to play. You know, he came in with his body ready, good functional strength, had some angst a little bit out there, obviously being a freshman in the first game in college, but we knew all along in the offseason that he was going to have to help us play. You know, in order for us to go far in this season with some success on defense, it's going to be some freshmen that's going to have to play for us for sure.
Stan, wanted to ask about Ian Stewart as well. He did a couple drills and warm-ups but didn't play. What's his status?
Yeah, again, he's on the same level as Wisdom. Excuse me. He will be available for us next week, and started getting close to being ready. You know, but we didn't want to put him out there and just kind of make things worse. So he's trending in the right direction. You know, good to go. Probably could have played for us today, to be quite honest with you, but just wanted to be smart.
And Demeric posted that he had surgery yesterday as well. Can you update us on his status?
His mindset is right. You know, Mama came to town and got him right, and so he's positive, and he's a leader, man. I mean, they listen to Demeric, so there's no time for him to be, soaking in sorrow. We need him.
Stan,
Just a couple more for Coach.
Stan, you guys came out firing on all cylinders on offense. You had 17 points in your first 4 possessions, scored 3 out of your first 4. What did you guys do differently compared to the first half that you did in the second half?
Again, it was just a gut check. You know, we didn't change a play. You know, it wasn't, once we figured out what was going on defense, we figured that out after the first quarter and settled in, and we knew what plays we're going to put our players in the best position to make plays. But it was a gut check. I mean, they had way more in the tank that they were given. And we just can't pick and choose when we, give the maximum effort that it takes to win football games, right? And I just think that, similar to last year, right? We started slow, right? And, we got to put that command on them and that challenge on them that is something that we absolutely got to get better. We can't be a slow starting football team. I thought our defense was playing too many back-to-back series where we could have expanded their power load by moving the ball early. Yeah, I know the success was there, but it should have showed up a lot earlier, and I expect that out of this unit.
What type of message do you send to the team following the game where you come out with the win, but a lot of misexecuted plays, drop balls?
It's good to come off with a win knowing that you can get better, and that's what we talked about. There's so much meat on the bone, that we need to be excited about what the future holds for us, and that was it. We celebrate victories, whether it's ugly victory or whatever, it's still a victory, and they come hard, and no better team knows that how hard they come. So I'm proud that we started the season off right. It's something that we can build from. We'll get on the film and find ways to get better in every phase of the game.
What does it say about your program that you have multiple transfers, game 1, already making huge impacts? I know throughout camp, I've been very impressed by a lot of them, but just to see it in game action where there's not a lot of miscommunications and they're just making plays on the field. Yeah,
that was a challenge, right? You know what they can do in practice, but they weren't battle tested. You hadn't been to war with them. It was a lot of, it wasn't a question of physical ability for me. It was, how are you going to respond to adversity? What kind of decisions are you going to make in the heat of the battle? Are you going to be disciplined, play within the system called? And, very, very proud that our guys, our newcomers, did that, especially on defense. And, again, room for growth makes me excited.
Good.
You have a
Thanks.
question?
Yes, Stan, you talked earlier about doing honorary.
I need you to speak up. I'm sorry.
You talked earlier about doing honorary single digits. What went into the decision about wanting to do that? Is this something that we're going to see throughout the year?
Yeah, it's something you're going to see throughout the years. Guys who represent our culture, who are practicing their butt off, and they're taking leadership and ownership of not just the system and the game plan, but of the team. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There's more that are warrant of that. There are more that can earn that. And that's what excites me about this football team. There's only 10 of those things, right? But I feel like there's a lot more developing. So we stop at 10, and then we leave 2 for an honorary pick, and it kind of creates a little bit of competition and edge on us as we prepare every week. So,
Okay.
all right, thank you
Thanks,
guys.
Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.